Hey, welcome to a video on how to play Duality. Duality is a dual faction card battler, and I'm basically going to go over what the mechanics are of the game, how to play it, how to get set up, and basically everything in between. Hopefully this should only be about a 10-minute video to go over everything, but let's get started. So the first thing I really want to explain about Duality is when I say dual faction card battler is there are a lot of factions. Just to explain the beginning is we're just going to look at these 8 factions here. This is on Tabletop Simulator, by the way, so if you want to play it, all of it is available to play. And this is still, I'd label in beta, as there's some stuff I'd like to add in the future, along with seeing where this game can launch in the future. Also note, as it's listed right up here, all this art is simply placeholder, as this is kind of a beta, so in the future there will actually be uh, legit art placed onto the game. But yeah, so the way it's going to work is players are going to pick 2 factions each of their own, and they're going to battle it out on this board. And the simple goal of the game is just to eliminate your opponent's team. So the way that's going to work is, let's just say, for example, I picked the Demons and Holy Knights. Within a faction, you'll see on this cover card is the stars are the complexity. So that means it's a 1 out of 5. So this is going to be an easy faction. And it also lists kind of their playstyle, so burst damage. If I remove that cover card, you're going to see within a faction are just 5 heroes. Every single faction always has 5 heroes to them. There may be extra cards, but that usually relies on mechanics that they offer. And within that, every single card out of every faction is unique. So Vogdran here, his ability of when attacked, the attacker takes 1 damage. No other card out of all factions will have that effect in the game. So what I'm going to do is I will have my 10 cards. And what you're going to do when you start the game is you simply pick one from one faction and another from another. So let's simply say I wanted to take, let's say Vogdran and Genevieve as my 2 starter cards. I'm going to go ahead and put those into my hand. And then the others are just going to get shuffled into this little area face up. And I'll draw 2 more. So your hand size is always 4 cards. With these cover cards is you can flip them over and place them in this area, as they're going to explain how to play the factions and have the stats of every hero. This is for you and the opponent to always glance at, to be like, okay, what cards do you have left? What should I expect here? And then, say for them, I'll just grab these 2 factions, and for theirs, I will just simply shuffle it and put 4 cards out here. Note, this version of the game is also scripted, so a lot of the buttons and prompts can be clicked on. And then we'll just put their deck here. Same with theirs, just put out these cover cards. Okay, great. So this is what the game looks like set up. Some factions do come with little baggies for tokens. So both of their factions have some tokens for them. So we'll just bring those out. That's it. Great. Okay, so what you're going to be doing in this game is you're going to be summoning your cards from your hand onto the board to fight the opponent. Note, in this game, there is no actual player health. It's just eliminate the opponent's team of 10 cards or get them to surrender. So in the idea that if you have 8 cards and they only have 2 left, they could probably surrender, as the odds aren't looking good that they're going to win this. Over on the right side of this area here is, these are called souls. This is your mana in the game. So first player, let's pretend it's me, starts at 5. The other player is going to start at 6 as second player. And just to quickly explain a card, so let's say my first card I want to bring out is Vogdran onto the board. The blue number on the left is the soul cost to summon them onto the board. So he's going to cost me all my souls. The red is their attack value. Green is their health. And then the M on a card means it's melee, meaning you place them anywhere in this top row. Otherwise, if you see an R along with the card being purple, that means range, put them anywhere in the back. Once you summon a card, that's where it's going to stay. So I'm just bringing him out. As many games of this genre, when you summon a card, it's going to come in exhausted, meaning it can't attack yet, but can attack on all future turns. Their abilities do work if it applies, so even though he can't attack, if anybody goes to hit him, they will take 1 damage. Then at the end of my turn, I can reset all my cards and draw back up till I have 4. Let's jump over to the other player's side here. Let's just say, for example, they just want to summon Brooks for now. So we're going to put Brooks out here. You can see he costs 3 souls, he's a 2/6, and he's range. Glancing at the other cards, they cost too much that he doesn't have enough to afford anything else. But Brooks does have an effect he can use right away, that he can place a little rum token on a targetable enemy. Every time that enemy attacks, they're going to lose 1 max health. Let's go ahead and throw it on this guy, as that's the only target. Brooks can't attack yet, so he's exhausted. Really nothing else to do, so at the end, you're going to draw back up. Okay, so now that it's back to that player's like the my turn here, now I can start to generate souls. Is a turn is simply gain souls, play out your turn in any way you want between summon, effects, attacks, all that can be mixed and matched, and then you simply draw back up at the end if possible. So the way you generate the souls at the start of a turn is you get 5 minus every hero you have on the board. So since I have one hero, I'll get one less, so I'm going to get 4 out of 5. Whatever you don't spend does carry over. From there, now I can attack and summon however I want. So maybe I want to try and get rid of that guy pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead and summon Toolgas here for 4. He's going to cost everything, but he can attack right away. So he'll go ahead and attack for 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this up to 3. And Vogdrin is going to attack for 2. So 1, 2. But because of the rum effect, he's going to lose 1 max health. So all these are clickable to interface with. They're both exhausted. I have no souls left to really do anything, so I'm going to draw back up. Now let's back to the opponents. Same as him, as we'll rotate this over here. He's going to go ahead and generate 4 souls because he has 1 card on the board. Let's say we want to bring out Draper as a card. He's going to cost 4. And he's basically saying on the opponent's turn, they either attack or summon. Next turn, they can't do both, but the opponent gets to choose which one. And then Brooks, he decides to attack, and he's going to hit Vogdrin for 2 damage. But because of that effect, when the attacker attacks, they're going to take 1, and that is now killing Brooks. So Brooks is dead, and that rum effect is going to go away. This is the unique feature of Duality. When a card dies, the opponent gains the essence of that card, and it gets placed over here, and you flip it over. As the back of every card is that hero or faction's mechanic at the top. So you can see I have that rum effect written at the top. When I go to summon a new card in the future, like if I bring out Frederick, I have the choice to combine that and place it on him. So now you can see Frederick has that effect that he can put rum on somebody, but he's also giving armor to all adjacent heroes. So the idea of duality is 2 souls inside 1 body. So every single thing the opponent has, I'm going to be able to steal and add to my cards and vice versa. If I mic turned off. Okay, we're back. So yeah, the idea is simply everything I can lose, they can have. But we're going to rewind that just for a moment and put that back over there because I wouldn't be at that stage yet. So the way for just jumping ahead then into just the rules of the game is let's pretend the opponent had something like this on the board. Put it there. If my 2 cards can attack, it's my turn. The simple rule is they can hit anywhere they want on the board. They can hit anybody, whether they're melee or range. You just cannot target a range if a melee's in front of it. So in this instance, Atli is protecting Olabek, that I cannot hit her with just a standard attack. I would need effects in the game that could say, like how this one says, place it on a targetable enemy. I cannot place that on him because he is not targetable. If for some reason Atli was right here, these guys could hit any one of these cards. These are called lanes that are up and down. Those only apply to effects in the game where a card may say, oh, hit everybody in this lane for X damage, or enemies in this lane do minus damage or lose health, so on and so forth. And that's really it, is you simply play your effects, you attack, and when you summon a card, if I was summoning Olabek this turn, when I'm bringing her on the board is when I have the choice to attach any essence that's out there. You can have as many of these stacked up as you want, but when you summon a card, you choose which one you want to use, and you can only attach it on the summoned effect. If a card dies with an essence, the one that you had there gets trashed and it's gone. And then, yeah, note that when you get these over here, these are just getting thrown away. So they're not going to go back and forth permanently throughout the game. Towards the end of the game, you're only going to have so many cards to play, so you may only have 3 left in your hand and the rest on the board. The extra little rules of the game is if you have 5 cards on the board, so if this player had these, you've maxed out, meaning you can't generate souls or add new cards to the board. So if this was a situation, until a card dies, this is going to be stuck at 3. Even if a card says when you kill an enemy, gain a soul, it won't apply. So 5 is a hard limit in the game. Alternatively, like this player, if you have nothing on the board, you can gain your 5 souls and you can pass. The opponent isn't going to really have much to do unless they have some outside mechanics like heal. But if you ever reach 12 souls, you max out and you have to summon. But with 5 souls, you can still summon as much as you can afford. So you could bring out quite a few cards. As even this one right here would cost 10. So this is a little way that if you're worried about losing a card, you can always save up for a bit. is at most they may take out one card, but they're not going to kill everything. That's generally the rules of the game. Um, the icon over here, this little tiny board, is the kill tracker. This is basically to help balance the flow of the game. I just remembered I forgot to mention one thing. Every time you lose a card, you gain a soul. As the opponent is getting those essences, you're getting a soul for losing a card. That way you can constantly keep up. That way it doesn't feel like they're getting the all the benefits over you losing cards. The other benefit here is every time you lose a card, this kill tracker is going to move one space towards you. Maybe you kill one of theirs, they kill one of yours. If you ever reach this icon here, all of your cards currently on the board are just on the board period are getting +1 damage until you kill one of their cards, and it'll go back down. If you ever reach this one, not only do all your cards have +1 damage, but you can also reset a card. It could be one that you just summoned, or this guy could attack, and then you could reset him and have him attack again. But again, if you kill anyone, it's going to keep moving up. This is just basically, if you're really falling behind, this is going to help you stay in the game a bit. It's just kind of a, not so much a handicap mechanic, but a balancing mechanic for the game of just how many different variables flow around in it. The only thing is I always recommend just test, if you're new to the game, try out the first 8 factions here, as they're very easy to learn and they all have different play styles to them. Always read the back cards. So much like this faction, the cultists, their mechanic is if the truth dies, you simply lose the game. And in this game, in this setup, you have your 5 cards, but you have the one card that has 2 sides to him, that he has an A side, and then when he dies, he has a B side to him. If this side dies, you automatically lose. But all of these other cultists are there to keep making him stronger and stronger. So then you're looking at other factions that do you want to keep making him even harder to kill, or do you want to make other threats keep constantly showing up to make him not seem like so much of a problem? So yeah, you always want to read these extra cards to make sure you know how to play a faction correctly. And then lastly is if you click the little button down here, load all factions, it's going to load in all 40 factions of the game. All of these have been played quite a bit, so feel free to dive in, play them, give feedback, see what you like, what you don't like, as there's currently over 500,000 different combinations of simply you picking 2 factions, your opponent picking 2. Beyond when you start adding in all the different essences and combinations, I would just imagine it's an absurd number. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to join our Discord, where we have quite a few people on there that can always field in any answers, or you could simply respond to this YouTube video itself and I'll reply. But yeah, thank you for your time and have a good one.